What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to this week's episode of Unpopular Opinions. I am your host with the most unpopular opinion, Dave Temple, and I'm joined, as always, by the Wandering Pollock, Conrad Roth, drinking the Evian. Looking good today, buddy. How you doing?
Looking good, feeling good.
There you go. All right. And the T-Rex from the BX.
All day.
Dressed down a little bit in the golf polo.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What happened? What happened was uniform-wise, I was like, let me clean up today. I had family shit to do, so I was like,
this is also usually like, you know, when it gets hot at the office and you're like, oh, I gotta put a golf shirt on. Like,
I gotta just go to the fat guy defense right here, baby. I got to listen. I'll be real with you, man. Last week when I had if you go back and watch last week's episode, you'll see a lot of this. And what this was trying to make sure the buttons on the shirt weren't about to ping, like a fucking Civil War musket. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to just do a lot of smoothing over here.
Yeah.
And then this week when what was it? Sunday, I was like, oh, I got to take this to the cleaners and everything else. And then I didn't trust the shirts. So I was like, oh man, maybe I just polo it up today.
Hold on, what you mean you didn't trust them? Oh, you didn't trust that they fit.
I have too many. Ironically, I have too many slim fit shirts in the closet. So don't ask how I got them. I'm gonna be real.
I'm game curious. Like, did somebody die?
Because it's slim fit, but it's a big.
Did you clean out someone's apartment?
I bought them. No, okay. When you go, I'm a dude, and I don't know clothes. So I didn't understand what slim fit meant. You understand what I'm saying?
Really?
I just grabbed it. It said 18 on it, 18 and a half.
Shit.
So I wasn't even looking if it was slim fit or not.
Wow.
So I have like a ton of dress shirts that would fit me if I was a slim fit body.
That's interesting. And what do you know? Do you know about clothing types or shapes or anything like that?
No, but
I mean, is this suit tailored or anything, or is this?
yeah, I think. But now you just buy it as like I had to get it tailored, but you buy it as a certain thing. There's like 3 numbers that you look on. Like they make it easy for you.
It doesn't sound like you fully have it down pat.
No, like you look, they're like measure 3 things. Measure your from one shoulder. Like you do it yourself. You know what I mean? And then you buy it online, and then they like this is polo. So I just it's like you get it delivered, and then you take it to a tailor, and then they extend the arms, they extend the legs, or pull something in.
Jesus
so it's very
Christ,
easy,
man. Like,
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do it online. It was just a mistake on my part. I like the way these shirts looked, and there was a time where they fit.
right.
But that time has passed, and I'm trying to get back to that time. Do you remember the time when
Yeah.
we fell in love?
That's always good. I found, and I sometimes wear clothes that are too tight to motivate me to get down. And I remember when these were really tight on me. I remember these were, when I first bought these, I was uncomfortable wearing them because I'm like, this is a tighter jean than I'm used to. And then I just kind of got down to, all right, I'm a bit more comfortable. Yeah, yo, dude, I started a new workout regimen, like, cause this is I have the plantar fasciitis,
plantar fasciitis,
whatever it's called. Yeah, I have that.
turf toe.
It's not in the toe, though, it's in my heel,
Oh, okay.
Planular fasciitis.
something like that. But right,
I think plantar is for the front, but an orthopedist could tell us how this works. No,
Yeah.
not an orthopedist. Who's the guy with your feet?
podiatrist. Yeah. Which is weird. Those are weird. I never understood those words, man. Like when you just start making up like the Greek thing, like why can't a dog just be a dog? Why does it need to be a canine?
Oh, well, that's like pod means feet. So like,
why aren't we just using the word? Okay, if pod means feet,
biped,
then why does the word feet exist?
because it's for not dumb people, but just for easier. Because you don't want to say caninus contrarius.
Why not? Is that the first name? Is that the original name?
No, it's like the phyla, and it's other stuff.
Because I'm saying, like,
It's a simplification, and as you remember, because you're translating it from the original Greek, I think it was.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
even better, yeah. So yeah,
maybe I don't. I
yeah,
could
but
be
if
wrong about
nobody
this.
speaks that anymore, why is that the scientific term? You know what I mean? Like,
Because science is about classification, and you want to classify these things. It starts with
but
animals.
dog already classifies it. Cat already classifies
what kind of
it.
dog is it?
That's what I'm saying. Canine is just like it doesn't classify the dog either. It just says these are dogs.
Well, canine is the first part, and then there's a second part that says what kind of dog it is.
Really?
Canine something, yeah. And you're like, and this is a dumb argument. You're like, why do we need synonyms? You're like, we should just have that's one word thing, and we don't call it nothing else.
Yeah, why do we need synonyms?
This here is a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I will strike you down.
No longer shall the word canine be used on land east of the Mississippi, south of Canada, and north of the Gulf of Mexico. If you shall, you will be executed in public with a sword.
Listen,
We know what David corrected. He took over the world.
I know they've been told I'm an elitist. Okay.
No, but I'm down with you because it does sound dumb.
I think canine is way more elitist than dog.
Yeah.
So I think on this one.
But I think that this is kind of funny because he wants to simplify the world, which is I'm not opposed to.
to that.
Yeah, because when you're doing the canine this or what are the words for?
Yeah,
like we know what a T-Rex is.
Yes.
Them niggas say something else.
What do they say?
No, Tyrannosaurus.
Tyrannosaurus
something.
Rex.
Yeah, but Tyrannosaurus is a Latin word. I
It's
think.
an abbreviation. Yeah, it means terrible lizard. Tyrannosaurus is Latin.
Okay.
Yeah, you just need to take high school biology again.
I don't. We just throw the.
I mean, yeah, you
those
could.
terms away.
You could
he's
throw
an adult. He just
Dinosaur.
said dog.
Yeah,
That's it.
dinosaur is a
Dog.
fucking dinosaur. All right,
Sure.
I'm never gonna need to say it. I don't own a dog. I don't need to say that. Because that's the thing. If I did own a dog, right? You know when I'm gonna hear the word canine is when this motherfucker is sick and the vet is trying to explain to me what's wrong. And see, I already know when you start using words like canine, you're prepping me for this is expensive.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like canine lets you know there's about to be a comma in the cost of whatever.
What do you think about the canine unit police officer then?
Well, okay, they don't count because they spell it with the K.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phonetically speaking, it's shorter than dog. It's only 2 symbols.
Yeah, I mean, you could even
Letter,
you could
number.
even confuse canine with like a school. Does that mean K through 9th grade?
Yeah,
Like-
exactly. I bet you, I'm willing to bet police officers don't even know the CANI.
I bet
Oh,
you.
they have to.
Yo, that would be so funny. It's to take a poll, like man on the street, and be like, "What does canine mean?"
Yeah, and they'll know it means dog, but I don't think they're familiar with
yeah.
that root word
Right.
canine. They got there and they understood what a canine unit is.
Yes.
And that's the thing. And I'm sure they don't even know. Why don't we just call it the dog? 'Cause they call it the dog.
You know what's weird about veterinarians is that you think that their job is to take care of animals or nurse them back to health when a large majority of their job is killing the animal.
Yeah. You know what it is.
It's like it's too sick to bring back to life. Kill it.
Well, what you were just talking about earlier, like when you hear the vet say canine, like I'm thinking like, oh, that means he's got to go. You put him to sleep.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
exactly.
gonna be cheaper than whatever it is you want to do to keep his life going. And the sad part is the reason that the veterinarian kills so many animals is that by the time the animal is exhibiting symptoms,
Right.
it's already done.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? By the
yeah.
time you notice something, like your dog can't look at you and be like, yo, it hurt right here. No.
Right.
By the time the dog is like licking outside, you're like, oh, we got to take him to the.
And you know what's funny? That is too, like you do use scientific words to give bad news.
Yeah.
You're like, well, your canine decimus dominicus has to be put into the euthanasia, and they're never like, we're gonna kill your puppy.
Right. At the hospital. He suffered multiple contusions to the skull and brain. You mean somebody hit him in the head?
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. Somebody hit
Yeah,
this nigga
like
in the head.
blunt force trauma. It's like, what, you mean you bonked him over the head with a wrench?
Stop trying to sound educated, man.
Well, I think in that instance, you want to sound it. You want your doctor to sound educated and reassured. I don't want my doctor being like, yo, they fucked him up.
Yeah, but it's to cover up like something problematic. You know what I mean?
And it's to cover up the fact that she doesn't know. Because that's the other thing. The person that comes and delivers the news, they don't know.
Yeah.
Well, there has to be a disconnect there because this way they can't answer any questions. Because otherwise, you would just, you would bombard the news, the messenger with questions, and the messenger wouldn't be able to deliver news to other people. That's why.
And then it's pretty good. Yeah, you always want to have like a buffer between you and that person. You know what I mean? It's like, delegate the responsibility. It's pretty smart to have it that way.
Yeah, which is interesting. Do you think surgeons have a green room like comics? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where, like they get to kind of
I don't
relax
think
a
so.
little bit.
Oh yeah.
You get
really?
a little bit of bottle service.
Dude, they have so many people, like they come in, they wash their hands, they put their hands up like this,
scrub it.
and then they put the gloves on
No,
them.
but we're talking about a green room where they hang out with each
Pre-show.
other. No, I don't think they.
Oh no, because there's only like one surgeon on the
Yeah,
thing.
and but not only that, like doctors. Like you think comics are self-centered? Doctors are probably like they literally hold life and death in their hands. So I
Yeah,
don't
if
know
I
if
was
they're big social animals hanging out with each other.
Fuck
You know what
out
I
of
mean?
here. If I was a doctor, I want all the other surgeons in the back of the room. Yo, watch this. Like, if
They
I
do
do
have that.
surgery, it's a fucking show, dude. I'm fucking tossing scalpels around. I'm flipping things. You know what I mean? I'm
You're
making this-
juggling.
There's no flair in the operating.
I'm turning this into a straight hibachi grill right now. Watch me turn this nigga's heart into a smoking volcano.
But they do have the for students, they have
theater.
the viewing, like, you know, the glass above, so they can look down and see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would want to be a fucking doctor with all of the shit you got to go through with the school and everything else.
Well, here's how things go. If there's value in anything, people will squeeze the value out of it. Like owning a home is not as valuable as it used to be. Like enough people got their fingers in the pie. We're like, how many people you got to deal with to buy a house and to keep a house? Same thing with like being a doctor. It's like, you know what they do to you? After you go to medical school and all this and you have student loans, you work for free for like 3 years. It's called residency, I think. Or I don't know how long it is, 18 months, where you work 85 hours a week and for free.
Yeah.
And it's like they got the value out of you. They got the value out of your student loans. They got the value of anything. It's like, yeah, why would you want to be a doctor? And then they sue you all the time. That's why a lot of doctors are moving to Texas, because they have a maximum amount on how much you can sue them. I think it's only like $300,000. I also, by the way, say everything I hear, I repeat as fact.
Yeah.
Like that's why like I got probably 1 million things wrong in this thing when I started talking about like it's Latin and it's phyla and it's this and it's
Well, the show's called Unpopular Opinions, not Unpopular Facts. You know. There you go. But here's the thing too that's funny about doctors, man. I've recently realized this. Like, you go through all of that school, right? All of that medical school.
Right.
You accumulate all of this fucking knowledge. And then you go to give your diagnosis to some ignorant motherfucker who has no idea how to take care of themselves. Like they've been
That looks like me.
right. They've been tearing themselves apart, and they're like, "I want a second opinion." And you're like, are you out of your fucking mind? Are you serious? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You
this
see this
motherfucker.
diploma? You see the diploma next to the diploma?
I have
do you
to-
see the diploma underneath the fucking
Yeah,
diploma? What
and
the
I
fuck do
still
you got?
have to prove myself to you
Right.
to collect a copay? Fuck that. I quit, dude.
Yeah, you know what that's similar to? You ever have somebody ask you for directions on the street, and as soon as you give them the directions, they ask the person right behind you the same question? You're like, motherfucker, like I just gave you.
Yo, is he right? Is he right? Is
They're
he
like,
right?
they're like, nah, I don't trust you. Next guy. But it is true. It's like you want like one thing I learned in the workforce, like working construction, is you want to get 3 quotes for every project you get.
Yeah.
So it's like, or maybe 5 even. Like you say, all right, I need the kitchen sink, or I need the sink fixed upstairs. You get 3 guys. Same thing is kind of with a doctor. I don't know. I've met some doctors where I don't trust them. Like I'm just like, I personally, I was like, yeah, if I was your patient, I would get a second opinion.
Yeah. Ooh, what makes you not trust a doctor? What factors?
Just like us with our opinions, they're too willy-nilly with their diagnoses. They're just like, yeah, it's probably this or that. It's like, what? No, it's like everything takes thought. You know what I mean? Like you got to slow it down. They're just like, but like as I know them personally, they just like are very willy-nilly with like us. I'm saying, but it's like you wouldn't want any of us to be doctors because
No, it'd be terrible, doctors.
yeah, it'd be terrible. Yeah, you wouldn't be very.
You know
thoughtful.
how much shit I would rush just to get to my weekend? Like
Yeah.
my Friday appointments. First of all, I'd show up hungover because Thursday I'd be partying. But my Friday appointments, probably anything after 2:00 is getting canceled. I wonder what that's like to get a call to be like, yeah, your doctor, he left. Sorry, we supposed to call you before you came down, but he left.
Yeah, usually it happens the other way. People don't respect anybody's time. So usually like, and the thing is too, the problem with like all the diagnoses, I think they pump their schedules like it's so difficult to own your own practice now that you work for somebody else and they fill your schedule up like to the brim. And you're just like, how am I supposed to see like 30 people in a day and then give the right diagnoses? And then if I'm wrong, you're going to sue me. It's like, it ain't worth it to be a doctor.
Full disclosure, I was sitting here half the time while you were talking going, isn't it diagnoses? Like I legit was like,
whatever it is.
Is it diagnoses? Is it I think diagnosis is actually correct.
Yeah.
But like for like a good 5 seconds in my head, I was like, this motherfucker is playing that wrong.
No, diagnosis. That's Latin. It's a canine diagnosis.
Again, why are we using words like diagnosis? What's wrong with this dude is like that's
Yeah, it's called the problem now. There's no diagnosis. It's called the problem.
Unless you're from Staten Island and then it's a situation over here. Hold on.
Yeah, the situation's a good one.
We're gonna rearrange this shit over here, right?
What if that was your you know how they have like those down Jersey Shore names like, yo, I'm the situation. What if you're like, I'm the diagnosis?
the diagnosis. I'm the diagnosis because I can look at a chick and within 10 seconds I can tell if she's going to sleep with me. All right?
Yo, that is spot on. And it's funny that like nicknames, like who else has that? It's like the Jersey Shore and One Mixtape. They all have like their nicknames.
Oh yeah,
Half
like,
man, half amazing. I still.
that was my first AOL screen name.
Half man, half amazing.
Yeah, but it was HAF because you couldn't get the. There was only a maximum amount of characters.
Yeah.
Half man, half man. But what else has like the nicknames? I guess like you don't have like strippers. They don't put the in front of the name, in front of the nickname.
No.
I feel like those freak show strippers do. Like if it's like a big chick, or I feel like what's that other version of
They
stripping?
prefer the term BBW.
Burlesque dancers.
Burlesque dancers.
That's the PC term, burlesque dancers.
But they're not like. Do they have names like
I want to say like burlesque chicks would be like I'm the destroyer.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I'm the battleship.
Yeah. Just some chick who just crushing watermelons with her legs. You ever seen that trick where girls where they just sit there and squint?
Ladies and gentlemen, on the main stage, please welcome the Eclipse.
This speaking of synonyms and stripper names, you ever notice that I'm going into Seinfeld almost again? That you always there's like Destiny is a very like stereotypical stripper name. It's almost like hackneyed, but you never have Fate.
Yeah, but Fate's a little bit more ominous. Fate sounds like she's going to give you something.
Yeah.
You sound like you catch something from
there's
Fate.
faith, but Fate.
No. Yeah, I know.
The closest I've had is Reality.
Whoa.
Reality?
Oh my
That's
God.
kind of. It sounds great, but it is.
It does sound great, but it's.
Yeah, but if you think about reality, it's like I'm coming here to escape reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the fucked up thing. Like this girl I actually like left the club with and had sex, and I remember trying to like.
You had sex with reality?
Yeah. And I remember trying to get her to like stop answering pages or something in her cell phone at the time, and I was like, yo, man, forget about reality for the night. But I was just saying it like on some stop dealing with your shit and come over here. And that was the line that she was like, did you know my name was Reality? That is
Wait,
so
her Christian name?
No, that was her stripper name. That was her stripper
That'd be
name.
rough if your mother
How do
named
you know
you
that she was
Reality ended
Christian?
up being a... Well, her government name, I probably should have said to be, for the non-secular people out there. By the way, here's an unpopular opinion.
Give it to
Reality,
me.
very, very underrated David Bowie album. 2003. It's actually my favorite David Bowie album, probably.
Okay. You
Reality.
just got in a rowboat and sailed off by yourself.
Yeah,
man.
I did.
had
But
no
yeah,
idea.
but how often am I going to be able to segue into Reality, David Bowie, from Reality to
right.
Stripper? So
The
you
only
take these
thing-
opportunities when they're presented,
The only
kids.
thing I know about David Bowie is he was the effeminate character in Labyrinth that was chasing him around.
Do
right?
never, ever disrespect the Goblin King again by calling him effeminate. All right, he's a king.
All right.
He's a
Hey,
fucking
look,
king.
I only know about baggy
Did you
jeans
not
and
see the
boots.
huge wang on the? As you know what's funny? Like, it's one of those things where people are like, you haven't seen Labyrinth. Like Labyrinth is like Goodfellas for nerds, for a lot of, you know what I mean? And I've never seen Goodfellas. But it'd been years. I had never seen Labyrinth, and people are like, "Oh, you haven't seen Labyrinth?" But you have to see these things when you're a kid. Because I watched it as an adult, and I was like, "This is fucking stupid."
Right.
But yeah, Labyrinth, shitty movie.
You
How
gotta
about that
buy
one,
into
nerds?
it. Yeah, you got to buy into Labyrinth. It worked for me because even as a kid, and I was young, but I knew Jennifer Connelly. she made me happy in the pants, dude.
There you go.
So that was enough for me to watch, and it was less creepy than the Never-Ending Story. Because I was into the Never-Ending Story, and then like Atreyu. Do you guys remember that movie?
No.
Okay.
I've also never seen Never Ending Story.
Yeah, well, a Never-Ending Story, they had a boy who looked a lot like Jennifer Connelly, and that was strange.
Okay.
And even though I liked the movie, I couldn't get past them throwing this boy around in the mud, and he was always wet, and his chest was all out. That movie made me uncomfortable.
I'd never seen Never Ending Story.
You shouldn't be able to call it Labyrinth, right, Dave? You should have to call it Cave.
Yeah.
Maze. No. What are you talking about? Maze.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Water.
what Labyrinth is? Oh,
But
okay.
then
Maze.
Spanish people would be like, is it a movie about corn? I'm taking all the shots. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
I like that.
Cisco is
Mice.
outside the arc today. I love it, man, because we got some great subjectors coming in, man, and I think we set this up really good as we get into some nerdy topics about movies, and we get into the different type of women who have certain nicknames out here in the street.
There you go.
So let's wrap up. This is about to be a wild one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into it. All right, everybody. So, this has been great so far, the discussion. I'm loving where this night is going, and I think I see our first objector walking in the building. Give it up for Kaitlyn Bailey. Hey, Kaitlyn, how you doing, love?
Feels good to be back.
Yeah.
Hello.
Welcome. So, what is your unpopular opinion this week, love?
My unpopular opinion is that sex work should be decriminalized.
Oh, okay. Talk to us a bit about it.
Well, arresting consensual adults for having sex with each other has been wrong and dumb the whole time. It was wrong to criminalize gay stuff, and it's wrong to criminalize grown-ups
profit.
giving each other money. It's bananas. We should be outlawing violence, not orgasms.
Yeah, how did we get to that point where it became something that was a penalty? Do you know the history?
I do. The answer is misogyny. We've been lying to ourselves for 6,000 years about what the real problem is. We convinced ourselves it was naked women dancing instead of dudes fighting, and we've just had it backwards for literally 6,000 years.
Yeah, I'm actually reading religious books now, which will be unnamed.
Yeah.
I don't get in trouble. But it is funny to see as they speak to the human from that time, you understand there's a level of savagery that they're trying to calm down. Like,
At the core, it's all about control. So that's really what it comes down to, is that if I get you to not do this, you'll do this because I want you to do this. I don't want you doing that. If you do this, there's a penalty for it. This is horrible. This is bad. But do this because this will help whatever my interests are.
So, Kaitlyn, when you say decriminalize sex work, all sex work? Or
Yeah.
is there a limit for you?
I don't see. Yeah, fuck it, all of it.
What would be the
no,
argument against it?
No,
though?
you can't. Wait. When you say all, that's a big fucking buffet right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Look,
That's the unpopular part.
rape,
it's got to be adults.
rape is wrong.
Right.
Yeah, wait.
Well, whoa.
Sorry. Whoa.
Rape isn't the.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Rape
The
isn't
whole thing
a sex thing. Rape's a power thing.
Exactly. Well, also, it's not. That's not sex work.
It's not. That's completely
Right.
But what I'm saying
If you're
is like,
fucking a child, that's not sex
that's
work
what I'm saying.
either.
Right.
Yeah.
But we got to explain it for the people.
Oh,
in-
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't want some fucking yokel from fucking somewhere.
You know,
She said it!
Yeah.
rape. No, guys. Raping children still not okay. Kidnap always a crime. But paying
Trafficking wrong. We're talking
Trafficking
about
wrong.
consensual. Because you know somebody's
Yeah,
going to be watching.
we're
but
talking
she
about
needs to go to hell with all of the
consensual
rest of the prostitutes
Okay.
who made this happen. Like, no,
I have a question.
You got to explain it for the people.
What is the going rate? Like, is there...
Oh no, it's too broad. That's like
Okay.
asking how much do people get paid in restaurants?
But
It's
you
like,
understand
well,
what I'm saying?
I mean,
Like,
totally.
Is there a minimum? Like, is there a minimum wage that sex work...
No, that's part of the problem of being criminalized. It makes the organizing super hard. They're cracking down on fucking mutual aid shit. You can't even tell people hey, this dude's a scary rapist on the internet. Seriously,
Right.
it's a federal trafficking crime to exchange information with other sex workers about how to keep yourself safe. That's since Sesta Fosta passed in 2018. That's legit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, because that'd be
Yeah.
the same as, criminal conspiracy. Like if I teach
Yeah.
you how to sell drugs,
Yeah, that's
they're
trafficking.
Like, oh, that's conspiracy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah. So there's a real problem in that, like, sex workers aren't able to communicate with each other. They're not able to schedule and screen clients, and like all of the safety mechanisms that we've developed over decades online were erased with Sesta Fosta. That's like a real suppression of speech that's happening like in front of us. I got girlfriends of mine who don't even do like illegal sex work. They like teach pole dancing classes and shit, who have been erased from Instagram, who can't accept payments on Visa and MasterCard for their perfectly legal, like,
I heard about that. When
yeah,
Chase
it's
was like eliminating checking accounts.
and they
because of,
say
like,
they're cracking down on trafficking, but like they're putting people I know in like real vulnerable, fucked up positions because they cut off their income.
Right. Okay. I thought you meant like hanging them upside down. Like, hey, give me your prices.
No. Economic coercion's enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not to mention that, like, for the majority of like trafficking isn't done through Chase Bank or anything
Right,
like that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a cash and carry business, bro. Like, they pass this shit, and then it's like they didn't do anything to like stop the bad shit. They were like, oh, this is horrible. Yeah, but what about this real problem over here? Well, somebody will get with that shit. You know?
Yeah.
We're dealing with the
Now,
with the
can
internet.
you give me also a little background, because it sounded like a case that you were saying when this information got deleted from since who versus who?
Yeah, so Sesta Fosta is it's a law that was signed into. I'm sorry, I'm like
you're
I
fine.
can't even fit into my pants anymore. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, I know, I'll wear pants with a zipper. It's like I'm not ready for that shit. I can't. I've been in my pajamas for a year. It's whatever. But yeah, so Sesta Fosta was signed into law April 2018 by Donald Trump, and it's the Stop Enabling Sex Trafficking Act and the Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act. And it said it was trying to crack down on human trafficking, right? This is when Backpage went away. This is when Craigslist Erotic Services went away. This is when Rent Boy went away. All that shit happened at the same time in the name of cracking down, on
human trafficking,
exploitation and human trafficking. No trafficking victims were saved, but all the adult consensual sex workers I know have been thrust into a precarious position. It's like,
isn't that
no
pretty
one's
much
doing good.
what always happens when we're like, hey, we have a problem, and they're like, okay, we're putting in a law to fix that problem, and it's like, you just created another problem.
Yeah. And I feel like you can't call it unintended consequences when sex workers were screaming about what was about to happen. Like, you can't be like, oh no, we didn't see this coming. It's like, well, if you asked any of the stakeholders involved, we can tell you how to crack down on trafficking.
Right.
Provide housing for homeless youth, right? Provide a minimum basic income, healthcare, childcare, like help provide a social safety net so that nobody has to do this shit.
Now that's what I'm saying. But do you think that, like, what would you say if you had to guess the percentages of people that are doing sex work because they want to do it or because they need to do it?
It's a spectrum, right, of choice, circumstance, and coercion, like any job, right? Like, what's the percentage of waiters that are doing it because they love it versus people that like need to do something versus somebody, like.
I would have hoped
You
the
just
percentage
equated
of zeros.
sex. That's a 40-year-old man's.
Right,
Yeah, I gotta go fuck whatever. Yeah.
So it's a real spectrum, but I will tell you that like the kind like Taken, the movie, not a documentary. That's like not. It's like not. It doesn't make any economic sense to spend that kind of money kidnapping white bitches on vacation when they're like, there's enough volunteers in this business. I assure you.
Yeah.
So I would say that the percentage of, but there are absolutely examples of people who are trapped in violent and exploitative situations. But trafficking in sex work looks a lot more like domestic violence than it does like drug trafficking. You're usually at the hands of like one abusive dude rather than like a global network of folks.
I always found that to be weird. Like to be, if they're like, I don't doubt that there's a global trafficking like network. But it's like, that's a weird job. Like, once I get the description, I'm like, ugh.
Like, how do you get that
How
job?
much of this is paying?
Well,
you know what I mean?
And I'll give you an example. Like, and a lot of the like, trafficking stuff, you look at the brothels in Amsterdam, you look at like the brothels in Nevada, it's not, devious, violent men that are capturing women. It's the laws. Like in Nevada, if you are a legally registered prostitute, you're not allowed to go get a drink in that town. You can't leave the premise of the brothel for more than 10 hours without getting an STI check. Like, there are all of these laws that are trying to like contain sex workers like within their space, that they don't have freedom of movement. They don't have freedom of expression. They don't have the same human rights that we do. Like, your public health information is public record in Nevada. The fact that you are a registered licensed prostitute is public subpoenable information. How do you think that plays out in child custody cases? Like, these are not, it's, you give up, it's not a,
Now, how did you come to care so much for sex workers?
I did it. So there's that,
Okay,
right? Sold
okay.
pussy. And I got into selling pussy at the same age that my father joined the Army. We were both 17. And does that make sense?
I'm just trying to think, like, because when you say getting into it, I'm thinking of someone like going up and signing a piece of paper. So I mean, it's not.
Well, this
It's
is
not like the draft. You know what I mean?
This
Like,
was yeah, exactly. I wasn't recruited. My dad was. You know, like, we
Right,
have a
right.
pimping problem in this country, and it is recruiters. It is not fucking the oldest profession. That is,
Sergeant Johnson. You almost got me, you bitch. No.
yeah, maybe middle school is like too young.
Yeah.
So I was 17. I felt like I was being lied to about my body. I was being lied to about sex. I was being lied to about like this thing. And so I did the dangerous thing, right? Like, it was pure rebellion. It wasn't economic necessity, right? Like, I was driven to sex work out of curiosity, whereas my father was driven to the Army out of economic necessity.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. All right. And then you got in, you got out. You saw like.
I went to college. I did a bunch of other
chicks need
stuff.
help.
Well, Sesta Foster really fucking radicalized me because I was in comedy for a decade, right? Like, I'm a free speech person, right? Like, we should not be criminalizing words or titties, right? So when I saw my friends getting erased from the internet, I felt really galvanized. Like, I need to get back into politics, and as, you know, a cis citizen white lady with some privilege and education, I was like, give me a senator. I'll
There
fucking,
you go.
yeah, absolutely.
Fuck
Get
yeah.
out of my way, officer.
I love the honesty there to be like, hey, look, I got privilege. This is my
You
fucking
can't
cause.
deport me. You can't threaten me. My daddy already knows. Bring it. I have a doorman. I'm not afraid of you.
I love that fucking perspective, Kaitlyn. That's dope. Where can people find you at, love?
Find me on social media, Kaitlyn Bailey, and you can follow everything that we're doing at Old Pro Productions, which is changing the story that we tell about sex work at Old Pro Inc.
All right, so you'll find that link in the description. Make sure you go ahead and check it out, support her. Kaitlyn, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you, all right?
Thanks for having me.
Take care.
See ya.
You just walk out, all right? Dude, like, that is, I've never cared that. I feel bad that I've never listened to sex workers to find out what their plight was. You know what I mean? Like, I've never really dealt with sex workers.
Well, that's a Philly thing. No.
You know, you know what's kind of interesting about it, you know, because I like sports gambling.
Yeah.
And they both started legally in Nevada, Vegas, and now they're going out, right? But like New York State won't let you gamble on sports legally for some reason. So like prostitution is going to go through like a million other different problems with how come we can't do that? You can do it across the river. And they're like, nuh-uh. It's like, why? Now I got to go take the PATH train so that I can go get a free legal prostitute or something.
Well, with marijuana being legal now, how much longer can New York?
Marijuana's not a gateway to all the bad shit, all right? So don't put marijuana.
But that's
in
the way.
same
That's
league.
the way it's always
No,
fun.
it's
That's the way it's
gambling and
always
everything
sold.
else.
And
Weed
again,
is from
hold
the
on,
earth.
because again, you're also saying that like sex work is a bad thing. And
I'm not
I
saying it's a
personally,
bad thing at all.
Because I have told people during the pandemic, coming is the key to happiness. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You have to come every day.
No, you don't.
Every day.
No, you don't.
Oh my God, Cisco! I just watched the
You
video.
see all this energy? That's when you coming too much, man. You gotta chill.
You know what people aren't doing when I see an opportunity here is to start a corporation that is the first corporation for sex workers. Like, why are people out there fighting for people's rights? You should be fighting for, like, let's put the corporation together and let's like become the Minute Maid of prostitution.
I feel you.
So,
yeah.
so you're saying you start a
Like a
corporation,
Walmart.
right? And then you how do you get in?
We'll figure that
Like
all
BJ's.
later.
You know what I mean? get a
How do
little
you get in?
membership.
Right. You get a
Yeah.
little membership, and then you put the full force of the corporation behind anybody who runs into legal trouble.
No, I'm
Like a
saying
union.
I'm trying to be like the Coca-Cola. I will be like the Coca-Cola
Cola sex
of
work.
prostitution
Yeah.
because and then I'll be
Sounds like you just
publicly
wanna be
traded.
a huge pimp. That's what it sounds like.
Everybody wants.
No,
to be
no,
a
I
huge
hired.
pimp.
That's middle management, Cisco. I'm the CEO. Okay, I hire the. I don't even hire the pimps. I'm just at the top of the pyramid, and then I get all the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Wally and Marty.
Dave's definitely the chief orgasm officer. Holy shit.
That's good. And then you're publicly traded on the stock market, and then life is good. You sit back, you kick back while people do all the
15
hard labor,
years from
the
now,
blue-collar
when,
work.
when this is actually happening, I hope I'm not riddled with dementia, so I can remember this. I was there when he said this.
All right, guys, stick around for more. All right, guys, we are back. The unpopular opinions are rolling in. Guys, make sure you hit that hotline, 267-225-0334. Is that the number on the hotline?
Is it 334 or 335?
I saw this one clip of this lady giving out the Mike Jones number to someone on the phone, and she tried to get him to write it down, and he was struggling.
What's the Mike Jones number?
231-330-8004.
No.
You remember
my
that?
ADD is fucking me. As soon as you said Jones, all I heard in my head was Jones barbecue and foot massage. That's all I heard. I'm having a day. I'm sorry, my knees fucked up. I'm not wearing this. I'm out of.
That's all right,
This
man.
salad, bro. I've had like 3 salads this week. That's the fucking problem.
Oh yeah. Good for you,
don't
man.
clap for that. I'm miserable. As
Nah,
fuck.
because you had something. It was Salad September before.
I did good with salad September.
You
but know
finished
what I
Salad
learned in
September?
Salad September was if you drown it in ranch dressing, it's no longer.
Oh
a
yeah.
Yeah, it becomes soup. It's just blue cheese soup.
Here's an unpopular opinion for you. Too much salad dressing. That's just soup, bro.
Yeah, what do you want me to do? Taste the fucking lettuce? Get the fuck out of here.
All right, man. I see our next objector just walked into
Oh,
the
shit.
building. Conrad, go ahead and introduce your boy, man.
Why you put me on the spot to introduce? I have no charisma.
'Cause
No, give it up for Boris Khaykin, everybody.
I'm never comfortable saying Boris's last name.
I was about to
That's why.
say that's what I was like, because neither of them know how to say my fucking last name.
Is that for real?
Yeah, but if one of you is gonna say Kike, it should be you. I feel
Right.
like you look worse saying it.
Yeah, it's better to dodge it. You know what I mean?
No, it's a silent K. It's hiking, but it's funny because by the time it's true, and I have teachers ask all the time, and then by the time they realize to ask, they'd already just said the kike part, so then they stop themselves. And
Oh,
like,
shit.
Is that right? I'm like, well, you might as well finish it.
It's spelled
Khaykin.
So the K, but the K part is silent.
The first.
So,
K.
but nobody's ever said Keegan.
No one's actually ever said that. People say
Because of why?
Kaikin or Khaykin.
Yeah.
Usually
That
is
shows
what I
how
get.
excited people are to be racist when they're able to be racist. You know what I mean? Or just say it.
Yeah, it's an
And the black
immigration
guy
department.
took the chance to dodge racism. Nah, I'm fucking with you. Boris, man, what's your unpopular opinion this week, man?
My opinion is that sci-fi is not a real genre.
Whoa!
That's right. I thought I
Whoa,
was
hold on.
contrarian.
Whoa.
Sci-fi is a fake genre.
I love
I'll
it.
prove it. It's okay. If any sci-fi movie is an actually good movie, you don't even think about it as sci-fi. You just think of it as a good action. But like everyone thinks The Matrix. They don't really think like at the time it was just like, oh, it's a cool action movie. It's got philosophy in it.
Yeah.
It's a setting. It's not a genre. It's a setting. It takes place where and when in a galaxy far, far away. But if it's a good movie, it's going to be a good comedy, or it's going to be a good drama.
He's convincing me. I
Or
get
it's
what you're
gonna be-
I don't know
saying.
if you see my face, but I'm like, fuck, he's got a really good point.
Yeah, because basically
I was all like, no, but
Yeah.
as you're explaining
You
it,
got
like,
heated.
basically, yeah, because like the sci-fi.
I felt personally attacked
If
by
you
that.
if you had to put sci-fi in a category, it's bad nerdy films.
That exactly.
All right, Dave,
it's a
slow
way to
down.
trick. It's a way to trick people to dork out over like a particular thing into watching something bad.
Yeah.
Because if it's good, you don't need to really sell it as
Yeah,
sci-fi.
if you
It's
make a badass sci-fi movie, it's just a fucking hit, a blockbuster hit.
And people have tried to convince me. I have friends that are like, no, you need to watch these. And every time, like, the two that got shoved down my throat were Battlestar Galactica and Firefly, both of which I did not.
the TV shows.
Yeah.
Those aren't really. Yeah, I mean they're good, but not if you're like already anti-sci-fi. Those are almost like hard science.
And I'm not, that's the thing, is like, I was always anti-sci, like, I wasn't into it, but then if I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of movies that people categorize as sci-fi that I'm like, oh yeah, those were good. I enjoyed them. Books, like, I read Asimov as a kid and stuff, but if it's good, it doesn't need to be categorized as sci-fi. It's good in a way that people actually recognize as a genre.
Yeah, I mean the whole concept of science fiction, like pairing those two together, it's almost like it puts you, because when you think fiction, you think like Hobbit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you think like gummy bears or some weird mystical
Which
shit.
people call fantasy, which I also think is basically a fake genre. It's still a setting. It's just set in a this particular fantastic place at a whatever time, if it's a real time. But if it's good, it's gonna have good action. It's gonna have good drama. It's gonna have good comedy.
It's not gonna be
Boris
no
is a
Kung Fu
very,
and
very staunch supporter of there's only 7 kinds of stories. No, actually, exactly what you're saying. No, because when you say that, I get what you're saying. I mean, when I say science fiction, like as a genre, it has to hit like certain. There has to be certain qualifications, and like the technology has to be different. The characters have to be rooted in reality. But as I'm saying this now, you've made a really good fucking point about the setting of exactly. Yeah. So I'm on this one, as unpopular as it is, I gotta be like, hey, he's got a really good point. I'm not saying I'm a full convert, but I am interested in subscribing to your newsletter.
Well, I want to.
Yo, when he said, I was like, get the fuck up. But then as you went on, I was like, yo, he's got a really good fucking point.
So hold on, because I just want to read the definition of science fiction.
Yeah.
All right. Fiction based on imaged future scientific or technological advances in major social or environmental changes, frequently portraying space or time travel and life on other planets.
It's a good description of a setting, but not of a genre.
Right.
It's just very clear to me that it's a way to trick people in seeing bad shit when they geek out over. And by the way, my understanding is like a lot of people in scientific fields hate science fiction because most of the time, in order for it to be science fiction, it relies on like some kind of magic thing that takes away this. Like you can only enjoy it if you don't understand enough of the science to where it's like, oh yeah, here's the part where they just made a bunch of shit up.
Yeah.
And see, I always
Warp
thought
engines do not exist,
or whatever it is.
I actually think it's. I get it why it exists because you want to expand people's boundaries of thought. But a lot of it tricks people into thinking that things are possible when it's not.
Yeah.
Like we cannot live on Mars.
Jurassic Park can't happen.
I don't know, but like
I think we can live on
the big
Mars.
one is you cannot live on Mars. Like
Why not?
Because we're perfectly adapted to Earth. Your spine, your biology, your lungs, your blood, like just gravity, the force of gravity on Earth is why we are the way that we are.
But what if I'm living on Mars not in my present human form as I'm currently confined?
we can.
Okay,
We'll be able
alright.
to do it in the future.
All right, so I mean,
I'm a big
if
believer
we're
in
talking about like some sort of consciousness or whatever, like you're in a different vehicle.
Or my spine's got a
Avatar.
fucking computer attached to it to help me deal with the Martian gravity.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, but then there's like
I get
solar
it. Like, they'll
radiation,
cover it.
and there's no water, and it's like because okay, here's the funny thing about living on Mars. Everyone hates the pandemic, right? And we're on Earth. Now, picture being on Mars and you can't go outside. There's no fresh air. There's no walking around. All the things that you hated about the
I'm not saying
pandemic.
you'd be happy. I'm not saying. I mean, we can't.
I know.
But we go to space and we can't live in space. But people spend
Right,
6 months.
but see,
to a
this is
year
the
in
funny thing
space.
about people are miserable and they think that the solution is out there, Boris. But you know where the solution is? It's in here.
A rare moment of empathy.
That'll agree with. That'll agree with.
But it's just so strange how people are like getting all jacked up about it. I just like it's impossible. I mean, okay, fine, these other things, but it's just strange.
I'm open to the possibility, but I think the stuff that's categorized as sci-fi that's good is actually often works of philosophy.
Right.
Right? It uses it almost like a religious
Yeah, like, what
allegory. Right. Like,
So wait, is philosophy a genre movie too?
that's a good question. I should have thought about that part before I stumbled into this corner. But
Yeah.
No.
'Cause I mean, you got to. I'm thinking about like all of even as we started listing movies like Jurassic Park and shit like that. This is my first time even registering them as science fiction. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's just like
Jurassic Park's
is
just like
Jurassic
it's
Park.
just dope
you know?
action. Terminator is science fiction.
Fuck yeah, that
But
is.
it's not, right?
And you know
Nobody
what
gives
else
a
though? Because I also tune out on the nerdy shit. Like when
Right.
I go see a science fiction movie, obviously I'm here for the explosions. So when they're talking and explaining, what's it say, polyurethanic?
Yeah, just made up money or made up species, whatever they're making up.
shoot some shit, yeah.
That's when they're trying to trick you into not realizing you're watching a bad movie. When
Yeah,
you're seeing
yeah.
too much of that and you're like, we're going to pay 5 Glorgmorks for whatever. It's like, I'm just watching nonsense.
Yeah, which is weird because that you said this when I talked about lying being better than telling the truth, and you go anything that's written down, like stories are just lies written down, right? Did you say that?
No, I mean if you yeah, no. Like, so lying, it's harder. It's easier to lie when it's written down. So people trust the written word too much. So that's like why Twitter, blogs, like people are like, can you believe this is outrage? It's like, no, one person wrote that down. And if one person said that to you at a bar, you'd be like, I'm never
This
talking to this
fucking
person
idiot.
again. Yeah.
Right.
But our brains think that written stuff down is true. But if you call it out as a lie, and when it's written down, it's just a story.
Right.
So,
And if
but
it's acted out by Will Smith, then a lot of people think it's the truth.
yeah, but
You're saying Independence Day never happened?
Well, I just recently rewatched I Am Legend. I'm pretty sure that whoever wrote that about them and was like, make sure Will Smith plays me.
No, that's I Am Legend is a Richard Matheson novel.
But it makes no sense for Will Smith to be a fucking scientist. Like, it does sense for him to
that's
be
different. Yeah.
sexy, like hot and smart, and then he's like athletic, but he's also like in the house working on vaccines. Like, no, this is some nerd's wet dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they need to sell it. That's like, I think what Boris is saying, like
Yeah.
science fiction. It needs to be branded in a certain way so that people will. This is science fiction. It's just like, oh, this stuff, it wouldn't work if we kept it here.
But
We need to,
also,
like,
I think the time of like nerds being like feeble and whatever, that's like the time of like comics all being like fat alcoholics. Like, we've progressed a little bit. I feel like there's nerds out there.
You think there are
Sorry.
nerds like
Jacked,
Will Smith?
jacked, yeah.
Will Smith
Yeah.
nerds are out there.
Yeah, I think there are nerds out there that are fucking jacked that go to the gym and take care of their bodies because they know it helps their minds.
Well, yeah, but I mean, because a bodybuilder is just a nerd. He's just a nerd about something else.
Totally,
You know what I mean?
totally.
But, like, the pocket protector.
You know how many bodybuilders are on the spectrum? I don't know at all.
Yeah.
I'm just presenting that as a theory. I have
None
no
of you be
idea.
scared.
like,
Those
wait,
guys
so
can't
I'm
fight.
just going to have to repeat the same task every day and just up the thing. Like, pick up thing.
Yeah, the math, 10 pounds to the linear regression.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if the plates are not numbered the way they used to, they are fucked. You know what I mean?
Oh, that'd be a fun gym where the plates aren't directly numbered, but it's a math equation to figure out what each plate is.
I struggle when I see now like those lifting competitions on Instagram, but like the plates are way thicker than what we
So
use
they
here in
look
America.
bigger than
Yeah,
it is.
and you're like, wait a minute, that says 35 on the side. 35. 35 kilograms more than 45 pounds? Shit, I don't know.
I can't even watch this because every time, or I've seen too many videos on Instagram that end with someone's like knee bending in the opposite direction. Where I'm like, is this gonna end with me seeing some horrific shit?
I can't. Yeah, that's how I know I'm getting old. I cringe at videos like that now. I used to watch that shit all
Because
day.
now you know that could be you.
Yeah, wait. Like now, I'm immediately taken back to injuries that I had myself. Like I rolled my ankle last fall running. I grab at my ankle when I see other people roll their ankle playing basketball or something. I'm just like, eee.
And you know what's weird? They on national television, you'll be watching ABC, NBC, like huge sports. They will rewind the injury like 4 times. Like, see, if you look right here, this is where his ligament splits his half and his bone
We're
comes out of his
selling
skin.
an NFT of this injury after.
Yeah. What was that kid who like his knee came out of the socket like a couple Easters ago in college basketball? And it was just like,
I don't know, but now my knee hurts. Thank you.
yeah, man. Oh. Science fiction though, man. So I
gotta say
really
this one
want to
for
poke
Vince.
some holes in this and try to find, is there some other way? Like,
I'll tell you one thing that's been pushed back on it that makes it a little bit of a gray area is Westerns.
because those are science fiction also?
Well, no, because Western is considered a genre. It is definitely a setting, but it's also like a really. Someone described it to me recently as like a uniquely American thing where it's like a barren land or like basically a lawless land that's being that's someone's trying to tame it, and that's kind of the story of a Western. And so to me, my initial impulse was like, yeah, Western's a fucking setting too. Obviously, it's in the West,
Right.
like in a desert land or whatever it is. But not a desert, in the West. But it's I guess all Westerns have the similar like theme and directorial style. But then people say that like Star Wars is a Western,
Yeah, that makes
right?
sense.
Which is
Because there's no law and you have to live by your own law to have.
Well, The Mandalorian. is
Okay,
definitely a
so
Western.
you're saying Western is a setting, not a genre.
but
What about hood movies?
that's a setting. That's also
you know
a
what?
setting.
You know what's funny about westerns is the best ones were made by Italian directors, and they called them spaghetti westerns, right? But like
Oh.
everything now is like if you mention food, it's racist. You know what I mean? Like if you're like Asian people eat rice, you're like no, you can't. Say
Spaghetti
that.
Western definitely sounds like a slur. For,
Yeah,
like,
so
an
it's like-
Italian that just
Yeah,
moves
so
to
it's like
Texas.
if like somebody started making like if Asians started making like romantic comedies, you call them like wonton smoochies or something like that.
You wouldn't even need to do that because Asians will put their name in front of everything. Have you noticed that? Like, hey, don't consider this Asian hate, but everything Chinese has the word Chinese in front of it.
or the opposite. And if it's a Western, it'll be like American #1 Super USA Western. Really overdo it.
Yeah, I've always been a big believer that if you put your culture in front of the noun to describe it, you're just being stubborn because you got it wrong. You know what I mean? So like there's toast and then there's French toast. Clearly someone got it wrong. There's checkers, Chinese checkers, someone got it wrong.
You think someone made toast incorrectly and ended up with French toast? Is that what your theory?
But
Yeah.
that also seems to be like the thing for science fiction. It's like it's fiction, put science in front of it. It's just a whole different
Oh,
thing.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
just being stubborn. Shit, I just proved Boris's point.
Yeah. But also, it's a weird. Now we're getting into like Seinfeld territory. It is bizarre how many European countries are in front of breakfast.
Mm.
Like Spanish omelets, French toast, English muffins.
Wow.
I'm sure there's
Well,
Belgian,
they
Belgian
brought them
waffles.
here.
I can go on forever.
They brought him here. That's why. This is where that dish originated.
I think it's just again. I just think it's branding. Like I mean, I don't know.
Eh.
You're just
It
like
is
French
also-
fries. I mean, they're not French. You're just
Right, and we picked and chose, like, we chose what to do that with, because there's, so, like, it isn't, like, corn not even natively American? Like, they brought that over? Or,
No, I think.
or am I getting that wrong?
No, I think you're
I
not
think
right.
the
I think
little
you're
ones
wrong.
were here.
Yeah.
We did the big ones, the genetically.
What is it then? Potatoes aren't from Ireland, right? They brought those over there.
I think that was just all you could get. That was all you could harvest because of the clouds.
But I think they weren't native. I think someone brought them to Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Horses, right?
Now,
They brought
now we're
horses
about to
them
get
in.
into like people. You
Yeah.
know who else wasn't here? Hispanics, they weren't here. White man first, then everybody else.
Do you think your breakfast is
See, we need an intern. This is where we need Mike to start looking this shit up as we're talking about it. So, you
No,
know,
it's more fun
now
to
where
get it
French
wrong.
fries came from.
We're getting into breakfast eugenics.
But you know, here's an interesting one too. Is that the bow and arrows in every culture,
Really?
isn't it?
Is it?
Right? Like, where did the bow and arrow come? The bow and arrow was in North America. It was in Asia. It was in
I
Europe.
couldn't tell you. There
It's
was
in
a time I couldn't
Africa.
tell
It's
you.
always there.
I feel like the bow and arrow, as advancing as it was made by the least athletic
Of course.
man. Like here's a guy who can't run that fast
I
and
agree.
probably cannot throw his spear
Like
as
all
hard as he
technology.
needs to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Necessity being the mother of invention.
Yeah.
If you're beating up all the dudes and fucking all the chicks, you're not going inventing in the back room.
I bet you the bow and arrow guy got a lot of tail though.
But now we are, because Boris, these guys are
Now,
lifting weights,
yeah,
and now
there you
they're
go.
like the technology guys. They're whatever.
Mm.
They're lifting weights and they're out there getting all the chicks and stuff like that. But maybe not.
I like it, man. I appreciate the opinion, man.
I'll go further, bro. He convinced me. I got to go look more into this, but I'm on team genre now.
Yeah.
I'm on team setting.
T-Rex.
setting.
I think someone.
Team setting, yes.
I think. Now this might get too nerdy. Malcolm Gladwell had this thing of like there's 4 different types of like that's like why Western is in it, is because you're in a place where there is no law, and then another genre is like there's a law that's made but it's bad and you're trying to fix it. Like that's what all like lawyer movies are made of. And then there's 4 different ones he did. It was very interesting of like what that is. It's like there's a guy that's a different. I don't know. It's fucking.
You just triggered me with law movies. Law movies are the worst. Any movie where it's just litigation for an hour and a half and just
it'd be great.
No, they stink. I hated those movies as a kid being dragged along with my mom. I remember seeing like Philadelphia with
Good example of it drag. Yeah, if you're a kid, yeah.
I had
That's
to
a
see
long
that as
movie?
a kid.
I always thought of that as an AIDS movie.
I had to listen, bro.
It was a medical
I had to sit
fiction.
through All the President's Men. All right, that's
Yeah.
a fucking
What about
movie.
A Few
You
Good
were
Men?
10 years old watching.
JFK.
No. All the President's Men. A Few Good Men. At least you can't handle the truth, and you got Jack Nicholson chewing up the scenery. All the President's Men. I'm 9 years old. I wanted to fucking throw myself out the window.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then you just get like this line for 13 seconds, and that's the whole highlight of the fucking movie. Like,
Yeah,
nothing happened.
12 Angry Men is like that. You ever see that?
Yeah.
You know what they do? They just question everything to death. That you're like, well, then he couldn't have done it. It's like you can kind of do that with everything. It's like, well, what if this? Well, what if this? Well, what if this? Well, what if this? It's like, all right, forget it.
And they try to spruce them up now, where you see remakes of movies like Murder on the Orient Express, where they try to add a little bit of action to keep the shit going. It's just like, yeah, these law movies just suck.
Law movies suck. Detective movies can be good if they're funny. You said Murder, because Murder on the Express isn't a law movie. It's a mystery. Like I just saw Knives Out. That was
All of
really
that,
good.
yeah.
That was really good.
I don't like nerds. I don't like nerds meddling with Alpha's plans.
Philly alert. Just saying. It's definitely Philly.
Now, here's another question. So, wait, you said genre, right? Science fiction genre?
Yeah.
So, noir is a genre?
I'm saying science fiction is not a genre.
Yeah, it's not a genre.
Noir. Very good question.
Because I hate those.
Those are those art
Love
films,
noir.
right?
No, they have every single, like, they have the different type of figures.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't know.
Are
like,
they all
it's almost like
negative
very
and bleak and everybody
It's like
dies?
cheesy detective.
Yeah.
It's so narrow, right? Because when I think noir, I just think like, yeah, Hollywood detective or something.
Yeah.
You know, the long leg walked into the room.
But then there was like what the Coen brothers did, Mulholland Drive, which is a noir because it has these
Is that
characters.
Coen Brothers?
I believe so. Or
That's Lynch.
Miller's Crossing.
It's Lynch.
David Lynch.
There was another one where it
Also
was,
boring. I didn't like. Well, I
Thanks,
watched it
Sam.
when I was in like high school, but I was like, I was like, oh, lesbians
It might be-
kissing. You know? I
What
tuned
are
out
those
for the rest
movies
of the movie.
called where it's always like a hot chick and side boob and you can tell like the director's fucking this chick and nothing's really happening.
every Hollywood movie ever made. You know what else is a terrible? I don't even know if this is a genre, but anytime that there's muskets, it's a bad.
Civil War, yeah. That's a setting. That's a setting.
Patriot is a bad movie.
How can you have a musket action
Cannonball.
movie? Because muskets, they when they would line up with muskets is because the it didn't go. There was no aiming muskets. It's just like the ball went over there. Like so, if you got hit by a fucking musket, it was just bad luck. It's
A
just like,
lot of dead soldiers disagree with you.
but they would stand
A
there.
lot of musket killed motherfuckers in heaven now.
Yeah.
This motherfucker don't know he's
But yeah, if you got killed by a musket, it lasted like 17 months because it was like lead
It
poisoning.
was the infection that actually.
And that's when they stood like 15 feet apart because they're like, we're probably not going to hit any of us, okay? But something might really happen.
Dude, to this day, I do not understand how war worked at that point where it's like, all right, guys, meet at this field at 10 o'clock and let's all just shoot each other. Like,
because you want what's on the other side of that field, or you want to keep what's on the other side of that field.
Yeah,
They
but
also got like a crazy honor culture at that point where there's like, they don't know about like guerrilla warfare yet. They're not just.
Well, it
fight-
wasn't
they're not just
conducive
fight-
because you can only do guerrilla warfare when you can enter and leave another place that you don't belong in willingly. So back in the day, like when you look at these huge battlefields, it's because hey, we're trying to take over this whole. If we take this battle here, we take over your whole country because everybody
Right.
that you have that's physically able to defend your country
Is here.
is here right now. So if we kill a bunch of y'all, we're taking all of this shit.
Take
Yeah,
the kids as slaves and the wives.
Yeah, that's why you did it.
Yeah.
And then as like I think what is it, World War One is the end of the wars
Trench
being
warfare.
fought man to man like that. And then after that it got more and more where now we're blowing up people with video games.
Now we got drones. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my God.
Back to sci-fi.
And in another 20 years we won't even need the drones. We'll just tweet our way into taking over your country.
I mean, isn't that what they're talking about now? Is
They
that
just
it's
did
like
it.
all, yeah.
Trump won because of Twitter.
What?
Yeah.
No. He
Shout
won
out
be-
to-
More Facebook, if anything.
Yeah,
I think,
that's
right?
what I'm saying for social media. The only reason he was the president was because
there's
he
only
was
one
on social
reason?
media. Yeah, the
I don't
only
know,
reason.
come on,
He's singular.
I've been on Twitter and they don't like Trump much.
No. Facebook is a much better.
You know
for
what was crazy?
Old people who were deceived.
There was a time before Trump's election where, black people in rappers were always bigging up Trump. Right?
Yeah.
And while Trump was in office, the narrative became fuck Trump. So rappers openly denounced Trump.
Except for a few, but yeah.
But now that
The brave ones.
a few rappers have been pardoned and Trump is out of office, rappers are back online like, yo, Trump is a real one. Like, I specifically watch Kodak Black and Lil Wayne be like, yeah, Trump's a real one, and they got MAGA hats on TMZ and all
Well,
that
Lil Wayne
shit.
was on board the whole time, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, Trump pardoned rappers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you didn't hear about this? Right before he left.
This is fantastic.
Right before he
this
left.
is great news.
Right before he left, Kodak Black had caught a gun charge, as did Lil Wayne, and they were both like convicted felons. Like, this is throw away the key, you're done. And Trump just like, yeah, and pardon him.
That is fucking insane. So wait, how did Trump have any wherewithal that who these guys were? Like, hey, I like this guy, he's my buddy, or he donated to my...
He knows what he's doing, dude. They will sing his praises forever.
Wow.
Trump will be hot, and he will be a rap reference in 4 years.
That's fucking great.
Because Lil Pump was backing him too, and then there's a video of him like bringing him on, give it up for a little pimp.
Yeah.
Little pimp.
Yeah. He knows exactly what he's
Wow.
doing.
This is fucking great.
Boris, man, thank you for weighing in, man. Where can the people
Thank you.
find you at, man?
At the Boris K on all the shit.
All right, even though the K is silent, he put it there.
That's right. So you know.
All right, man. Take
Thanks,
care.
guys.
Thanks for stopping by, man. Dude, man.
Peace, brother.
I am definitely going to start yelling that at people when it comes time to watch science fiction just to be a dick. Like, as soon as someone recommends, hey guys, you want to put this on? I'm going to be the guy, science fiction isn't actually a genre.
Yo, you need to get
dude.
your argument together because you couldn't back that up. Like, you still need to get the info
I'm
right.
going to argue it amongst people who can't possibly go beat me, mentally.
He's gonna argue with people who can't spell genre. It's all right. But y'all, I gotta say again for the record, man, I'm pretty convinced, man. I'm team setting now.
But you know
That's
what
fine.
happens when you disrupt people who can't argue back?
They get violent.
They kill you.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Jesus when Jesus is like, no, don't do this. And they're like, I want to disagree with you.
Wait,
I
hold
don't.
on. To be fair, he got violent first.
Jesus?
He fucked up the whole temple. Don't you remember that shit? Not in my father's house.
Yeah.
And he wrecked the whole
Oh,
shop.
that was one
Yeah.
time.
And then somebody,
Forgive.
snitched on him and was like,
Why
yo,
are you bringing
he
up bullshit?
Because he
No, he
started
was
to
going
know.
around talking that shit. He
He
was telling
started to get violent. As soon as they saw he was willing to say, they did the same thing with King. As soon as the powers that be saw, oh, he's not straight being pacifist, yo, he gotta go.
Well,
What-
for
what-
Jesus,
what-
it was
what
more
kingdom?
so once he started talking that shit about you don't give to Caesar what is his and give to my father. Like, once he started talking that shit about there's a kingdom bigger than the Roman Empire, that was a shit because you can't. That's like
fucking with the money.
right. You know what I mean? That's like you ever seen The Wire?
Of course.
When Marlo was like, "Hey man, my name is my name." And it's like, "Why are you worried about this shit?" He's like, "No." And that's same thing the Roman Empire did. What? Who's out there saying what?
He gotta
Bring
go.
him to me. Bring him to me.
Can we do, is that unpopular opinion that The Wire is the greatest show of all time?
I think you said that before on the
Yeah,
live
you said it.
show.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, probably.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I've never seen it, but I have HBO now, so I will.
The Wire, son. Is that a genre? Is that a setting?
The story.
Because
No,
it's a
it's a
cop
story.
drama.
It's a drama.
It's a hood western.
Actually, that might be pretty accurate.
West
From
Baltimore.
what I've
yeah.
read about it.
No, because there is a existing law. Like, I guess a western is like there is no law that exists.
But you can do a
No,
western
I
from
thought
the
Western
perspective
was
of the
just
sheriff.
cowboys and
Yeah,
but that's why
Indians.
Boris said it's like, no, it goes beyond that. There is if you look it up, I gotta look at that Malcolm Gladwell thing. He breaks down why certain things are the way that they are. And one of the points is that you're in a place where there is no law. That's why Star Wars could be considered a western, if you want to.
Okay.
Because you're entering a place where law doesn't exist.
So, and it's the same thing like in all of these jail movies, like Shawshank and shit like that, where now, because there's a new set of rules that you
But there
have to...
is a law that exists already.
But it's foreign to us, right? I mean, because that's the same thing with the Westerns. There's a law that exists.
No, there was it was unsettled territory.
Huh.
So like Star Wars 2, you're on planets where there is no
Which is fascinating too, because it's also just a repeat of the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like the Middle East would be a Western. It's just on camels instead of on horses.
Yeah, and no hats.
There you go. Yeah.
You'd have the whatever the
They used to
no cowboy hats.
I was reading Richest Man in Babylon, and they talk about that, about paying people to follow their caravan from like 40 yards over, so that in the event that we get robbed, you come over and rob the people that are robbing us.
You know how they have like the movie Batman vs Superman?
Yeah.
They'll have the guys on camels versus the cowboys on horses, and
Don't be so quick to dismiss what could be $1 million idea. We just got to figure out.
I throw away $1 million idea every day.
Yeah, like if we could create a world, maybe like Pangea, because that's the only thing I can think of where horses. Do horses and camels exist near each other? Not now.
Yeah, because you have
Lawrence
horses
of
in the desert.
Arabia.
Yeah.
But I feel like those horses are implants. Horses ain't supposed to be in the desert, are they?
Yeah.
Everything's an implant now.
Everything's brought from somewhere else. Who you think is more ruthless? The Middle East back in the day, or the Cowboys? I mean,
I'm gonna go with the Middle East
East
back in the day,
right?
Just based off of the way that they still behave now. And
God damn, Dave, what are you? Don't go down
I
this
watched a
road.
video of a man jamming a camel into the trunk of a Crown Vic. That's some savage shit, man.
Wait, what happened?
I haven't seen the video. I'm just laughing at the passion in which you. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It sounds like the most made up sentence ever.
No, sir. There's an Arab dude with the full the thing, and that man, he's got a Crown Vic parked with the trunk open, and he pushes this camel over hump first into the trunk, dude. Like, and I'm like, and the camel lets out this awful. But he was like, get in there. And I'm like, yeah, that guy's a fucking savage. So like, whatever, the fact that he's still doing that in like the 2000s, I wouldn't go anywhere near a camel, dude.
You know what's funny too? Is that your vocabulary could be so troublesome, because a savage is a positive thing now, but in that way it's negative.
No,
Look at this colors at the bottom.
It negative.
Fuck that. You're using it as negative.
I've seen another
Yo,
video.
wait. Let's get this straight. In the Middle East, they don't give you $150s. They take your whole skull. So
Yeah, the curvy sword. Yeah, I'm ready to catch
Sorry,
I'm ready to catch a curvy sword to the gut behind this one. Because there's another video, and this is just the corner of the internet that I'm on.
I can't get hit with a curvy sword, Dave. I'm from the Bronx, man.
But the Bronx, come on, bow and arrows, baby. Listen. There's another video. I'm gonna post these on the page. There's another video of a dude who straps a camel to a 4-wheeler. And he's doing a wheelie.
Please post these. I gotta see this.
Again, while the camel. So like, there's nothing.
Does Peter know about this? Can we get somebody to take care of these camels? What the fuck?
You know, that's true. That reminds me, I saw a guy on a bike who had a dog in a backpack. So it's just the same thing.
That's so wrong.
We're way delicate. Yeah, we're way more delicate with animals over here, man. So our people are not as savage as the Middle East.
Don't put a dog in a backpack, you fucking heathens.
Yeah, man.
But your original question, how could that not go wrong for anybody? It's like, who's more of barbarian? Is the people in the Cowboys or in the Middle East? It's like, how do you think that's going to go? But I will say that there is something with the cowboy is an archetype that doesn't exist anymore, is because that's the guy who went out by himself. It says, I'm by myself, I roll by myself, sometimes I got somebody who rolls with me, and I handle my own fucking business. The way that the world has become now, or our country, is like, you have to go get your group. I need to form a group, but it's only but you also largely do it to benefit yourself.
Right.
You're like, as a blank person, I speak for all blank people, and but it's like, but motherfucker, you want to benefit, and you're getting all these blank people with you to say whatever. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, cowboy just like, I just roll by myself, but now everybody's like, I need a posse, I need a group.
Cowboys are why you're never going to get gun control. It's a very American thing.
You should never get gun control.
But we're never, it's rooted, the American, the very identity of America is rooted in a handgun. It's rooted in the 6-shooter.
Yeah, it was the second.
Used to tame
it
the
used to
West.
be a
Second
musket.
rule,
It used to
right?
be a musket.
No. Because at that point, you didn't have you had like I don't know what the Cowboy situation was. Talking about after like all through that, you know what I mean? Like the idea of just that's every American wants to believe. Which is why BNRA is so popular. Hey, you need this gun because this gun will protect you from everything. But you're like, yeah, even like the Army, yes, even the Army. No, it won't because not only does the Army have bigger guns, they're better trained.
Yeah, but it's good. That's a good thing to have to still be a man where you need to be a man. I guess head of the household, you need to have everybody convinced that whatever's coming through that door, you got it under control. Yep. Even if you don't. So it's good for like men that are scared to death, which most men in this country are scared to death.
Not really.
It's good, but you know what I mean? It's good to give him a little bit of confidence to be like, hey, yeah, you're good. Don't worry.
Yeah,
you
Cisco, men have handguns, women have spatulas. That's no, but the hit.
It's a nice ride while it lasted. I want to thank you guys for tuning in.
Anyway, no,
they made it this far into the podcast. They fired us.
But no,
Oh no! I'm not talking about us getting canceled after that live hits here.
We say
Man in suits and spatula.
Yeah. But here's why you never want to get rid of guns in this country is because we will never have foreign troops on our soil as long as you can have handguns. Any country that wants to take over the United States, you couldn't even take over Baltimore if you tried. If you roll in, you're like, I'm going to take over your country. It's like, all right, yeah, start there in Maryland. You're like, oh, we can't even. There's just too much firepower. And
wait a second. I guess they could do it at Vermont, but once you get foreign troops on soil in any way, doesn't that now become an army issue anyway?
Yeah, but
so I think the biggest deterrent,
say they get past the army, you still can't take over whatever. You can
definitely get past the army now.
I disagree. I think the majority of people, and I think that works for like maybe like the middle of the country, but like anybody that's in you think anybody that's in the hood is just gonna be like, hey yo, America's gotta be saved. No, motherfucker. No,
they're
I think rednecks and hood niggas will come together to save the country.
I don't know, man. I think you'll see
but they will do it in their self-interest. They'll do it in their self-interest, and they'll say, "You're not taking over my block or whatever it is."
Yeah.
And then they'll form together their little militias.
Okay.
And then that'll be good, but it's in self-interest. But that's what's great about America is your self-interest benefits everybody else.
Because it's the same thing when you see our country at war in another country. We're never fighting like another army. We just fighting their rednecks and hood niggas. There's always just some dude with a t-shirt on his head and like a little starter pistol.
I agree, yeah.
No
shoes. But those guys still fucks up. Okay.
Yeah, he's like the most gangster guy in his village, and he's like, come on, y'all, we're going to fight back. You know what I mean? But that's it.
You think nobody's telling you? You think somebody like me like, yo, but they got these? Like, yo, we got to go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why,
good point.
That's why guerrilla warfare, that's why we beat the British. Is because they were trying to come here. You're in a foreign soil and you're trying to take over something. We're like, yeah, we're just gonna hide behind trees. We're not lining up with you red idiots. Okay. We're gonna you come and get me, and then I'm gonna shoot you. It's like, but you didn't line up in the line like I did. Why did you not do that? That's not fair.
You have no honor.
My mask is slipping.
But that's like in the Middle East. We're in these. Are we still in the Middle East in a war?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so we're still in there, and it's still like guerrilla warfare or whatever. So you're not going to take over the Middle East. Same thing as you're not going to take over Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, that's just. Yeah.
All right. This has been a fun one, man. We had a lot of good stuff going on. Let's go ahead and sign this.
Heard some stuff. Change some minds. That's a.
I had some good laughs. Things that you cannot say that because you talk to comedians and like, I'm out there in the world hearing all the things you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you come in and people are like, talking about jamming caramels in the trunks.
I swear to God, I'm pulling videos up.
Great.
Go to Consider This Comedy on Instagram. The videos will be there. All right, just look through them because I gotta wait till next week to post them so that they're live. I'll show you guys after that stuff. So.
Yeah.
All right, Cisco, say goodbye to the people, man.
Goodbye, people.
All right, Conrad, say goodbye to the people.
Good night and. Collect handguns and keep them. No, seriously, get a lot of handguns, and I don't say that just because my parents own gun factories, but
handguns or when you say handguns, you mean just like pistols, revolvers, or like submachine guns?
Cisco, whatever you can get your hands on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
All right, guys, this has been Unpopular Opinions. I'm Dave Temple. Good night.